Hi, Phil Aston here from nowspinning.co.uk. This video I'm going to feature Rainbow Rising, but I'm not going to review it. This is a very different type of video. This is about my personal experience in my life growing up with rock and roll and the things that I've experienced. It's actually the video version of a blog post that's on the Now Spinning website, which has been very popular and has been shared hundreds of times around the world. And the reason is that I saw Rainbow on the Rising tour. Here is my program and my badge. But what makes this different is that in my program, which I'll show you as a cutaway, my program is autographed by Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin. So how did my Rainbow program get signed by Robert Plant? I saw Rainbow in Birmingham in 1976, and I'd been looking forward to this gig for so long. You've hopefully seen my video where I reviewed the first Rainbow album. And so when this one was coming out, and I bought it, and you know, getting it home, just looking at the cover, that cover is so iconic. And I'd read the reviews, and that first kind of opening riff on Tarot Woman, I was just hooked. And of course, with side 2, with Stargazer and Light in the Black, and everything about it, it's classic, and the way they looked. So seeing him, and I was right down the front, right in front of my hero, Ritchie Blackmore. I was just to the right of the stage, so I was right in front of him. And there was the Rainbow. This is 1976, and it was just immense. And the live version of Mistreated, I was in second heaven. It's hard to explain. You're seeing your idols in the prime of their youth, at the top of their powers, and this was Rainbow Rising. And I'd gone with a friend, and there was a few of us actually, and it was also one of the loudest concerts I've ever been to in my life, this particular one. In fact, when they did Stargazer and he slid his slide up to the top of the guitar, I think a lot of us almost felt we were going to pass out. It was that loud. But we noticed that standing just in the wings off the stage was Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin. And he was dressed as if he was about to go on stage. He wore those kind of, I can say this, probably feminine blouses. I think that's one of the reasons he stood out so much. He looked, those kind of small blouses he wore, shirts, very colourful, that you remember seeing him on stage for The Song Remains the Same, which hadn't quite come out yet. And he got obviously the rock god hair, and it's amazing. And I think he started to realise that people were looking at him, and he kind of edged back a bit. But yes, he was a distraction, but it was Rainbow. And after the show, after the guitar sacrifice to do Close Your Eyes, we decided. We looked at our watches. We obviously young kids, early teenagers, 17 I was. We got a bit of time before the last bus went, so let's try and go backstage and see if we can meet Rainbow and get our program signed. And we waited and waited, and unfortunately it's one of those things, and I bet lots of rock fans know this. I know it's different now with social media, and rock fans are kind of like sometimes more amenable, perhaps more easy to get access to them. But then there were mysterious mythological figures that lived on top of mountains as far as rock fans are concerned. You could try and write to them via their fan club, but they never responded. So we waited outside, and what normally happens is there's loads of you waiting backstage to meet the band, and then that crowd starts to shrink as some people start to think, it's not going to happen, I'm going home, sod this. And I think in the end there was about 10 of us waiting to see if Rainbow would come out. And then a limo turned up, a door opened, Cozy Powell, Ronnie James Dio, could have been Tony Carey, just went straight out, straight past us, into the car's gone. And we thought, still no Blackmore, but no one hang around, and then another car comes, and then it's like Jimmy Payne, Blackmore, gone. And by this time, I think there was about 4 of us, and then there was 2 of us, and obviously seeing Blackmore just go straight past without saying anything, it felt like calling my hero a name, because it was really looking as if like we were going to miss the bus. And in fact, you know, we had missed the regular bus. There was only a night bus in about probably 30 minutes, and we thought, well, that's it. And as we started to turn our back, the stage door opened again, and Robert Plant stepped out. He stepped out. He didn't have a car to get into. He just stepped out looking like he was just about to go on stage with Led Zeppelin. And he said, all right, lads, what do you think of the show? And we go, yeah, it's really good. But we were absolutely gobsmacked, and we were tongue-tied, didn't know what to say. There we were, and like, you know, little kids with their kind of rainbow T-shirts on, and standing next to Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin. And I just said, will you sign my programme, please? And he said, yeah, no problem. And that's how it got signed. And then he said, what are you doing now? So, well, we got to go home. We got to go to the bus stop. And he said, oh, I'll walk with you. I'll walk you to your bus stop. And so there we were in Birmingham, late at night, walking to our bus stop with Robert Plant, who walked all the way around from the Birmingham Odeon. I caught it was a 58 or 60 bus back to Sheldon, Solihull, where I lived. And we had to walk all the way around the corner, past W.H. Smith's with Robert Plant. And all the way we were trying to be natural and talking about how's the film come along, because The Song Remains the Same was going to be released soon. And he talked about that. He talked about presents. He talked about... but mainly he was asking us about what we were doing. And we just couldn't, we were just tongue-tied. But there we got to the bus stop, and he hung around with us until the bus actually came. He didn't leave us on our own. And as I say, that was my experience and that's why I remember Rainbow Rising Tour 1976 was when Robert Plant signed my Rainbow programme and walked me to my bus stop and waited until it came to take me safely home. So there you go. So that's the full story. There's another part of that on my Now Spinning website as well. So it's a great album, and anyway, and I'll try and touch on it perhaps and do a separate video like I did for the first Rainbow album. But thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, thank you for sharing, and thank you to all my patrons and subscribers, and I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.